Na i ddechrau efo datganiad, sef bod y cyfarfod yma yn cael ei
Alright.
recordio a bydd ar
So you should have seen a declaration on your screen that this meeting is being recording. If you're not happy with this, then please leave the meeting now. All right, well, good morning, everyone. To those in Parthenable and those at home, can I welcome you to the Performance and Resources Committee. Now, before we do the apologies on absences, I would like to say how many or how much the members enjoyed the away day with the officers the other day, and I would like to thank the staff for hosting us on that day. Can I thank you for all the work that the members do, work that we don't see, and it's nice being able to see people and the things that happen every day in the park. And also, Tracy, can I thank you? This is your last meeting today, I understand. And I understand can I thank you for all the work you've done for the park over the years and wish you all the best. Thank you. All right, are there any apologies? Yes. Anwen Hughes and Naomi Thompson have apologized. Also, Jonathan Corley will be slightly late. There are a couple of other people not here, but I'm not sure what the situation is. All right, then I'll move on with the agenda. Thank you very much. So item 2, declarations of interest. No, sorry. Yes, it is declarations of interest. Now, Jonathan is not going to be able to arrive. I don't think so. So he has sent an apology. I'm not sure what the situation is. All right, thank you. All right, item 2 then, declarations of interest. Would anyone like to declare an interest in any matter being discussed today? Can I declare interest in item 14? Yes, of course, that's part of my job, you see. All right, thank you, Ilan. And can I declare on behalf of John too? Well, he's not here, but if he's here by that item, then he will be declaring an interest. But I'd like to declare an interest on his behalf. All right, item 3 then, the minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to have a look at the minutes? So pages 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Would anyone propose that they're correct? Edgar and Meryl seconds that, yes? All right, that's done. Moving on then to item 4, namely the action log. And Iwan will take us through this. Iwan, over to you. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the action log starts on page 9. And then if you look at the left-hand column, it mentions the item number. So if you go down to item number 11 on the bottom of page 10, that should have been completed, so that can be removed from the list. Other than that, the action log is fine. Everybody happy? Any comments? Yeah? I just want to ask, item 7, has there been any progress with this? So it mentions here, waiting for a report to come in. Talks about diversity and so forth, looking at income. Any ideas on what's happening here? Because we should be looking at that sooner rather than later. So people should have filled in the pro forma on this. Now, if I remember, there were 2 reports last year on this, one from the National Park Authority and one from the 3 national parks more generally. And there was also some strategic direction from the Welsh Government regarding how much risk we would be able to take as a body. Now that hasn't now we've filled in the pro forma, and the other parks have also done that, but they're sitting on this. I don't think we'll be getting any guidance because I think there'll be a change of government. So until we get that approval, we'll just be sitting on this. I will update the performer before leaving. Okay, so going back to point 8, on the third paragraph down, I'm in the minutes now, and it mentions having a meeting of the senior members of the chief executive. So I take it that will happen once we get confirmation from the government. Yes, that's correct. Leon, your hand was up. Do you want to come in there?
Thank you, Chair. No, it was same point about diversification.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Iwan. So we'll move on then to item 5 on the agenda, which is the budget update for 2023, 2024. And can I welcome Dewi and Shan here? Thank you both. All right, well, I'll present. All right, sorry about that. So this is an update for the budget for 2023, 2024. We bring you this report 3 times a year. Because the budget was set back in February 2023, we've got to present you with progress regarding that budget during the year. A bit of background regarding, just to explain what happened with various projects. The officers are working on numerous projects, and you'll remember back in the November report that we reported that we expected to finish the year with a deficit of about 450,000. But if I can draw your attention to 1.7 here, we have had an additional grant from the Welsh Government of 1.2 million, which is a revenue grant. So it will be a big help to fund or to make up for that deficit. So that means we won't actually finish the year with a deficit. And there will actually be money coming in from car packs and so forth, and that can make up for the deficit next year. So the second part of the report then mentions the original net budget and the changes that have been made to that during the year, and there are some more details that in Appendix 1. And the third part of the report is similar. The fourth part then is the forecast position, and we report as a service about the variations which are over 10,000. So 10,000 difference between the forecast and the actual spend. You've got the income and the expenditure here, and that table does not include the grant that we've just received from the Welsh Government. We had the information too late to be able to amend this grid, to be able to present it before. As we scroll on through the reports, in 4.6, it says that we've started the year with a target, but we finished with over 200,000 there. That's simply because interest rates have increased so much during the year. We've got the main capital projects in 4.7. We're working on those at the moment, and also a point there just to say that expenditure is beyond the expenditure, but like I said, the grant we see from the Welsh Government goes partly towards funding those. So the only recommendation really is to accept the report, but of course, Dewi and maybe Emir will have more to add here, and I'm happy to take any questions. All right, thank you, Shan. Do you want to add anything, Dewi? No, I've got nothing at all to add to that. Can I thank you, Shan, for that summary? This is very encouraging news about the additional grants. Very good news, actually. Nothing to add. Thank you, Dewi. Any comments? Can I just say, I've just drafted a paper on the finance of the authority over the next 3 years. I'll be presenting that before leaving, and I can explain the various aspects to that before leaving. Thank you, Emir. Right. Can everybody hear us in the room if you're on Zoom, yes? No comments from anybody. Okay, so thank you from me and thank you, Shan, for that report. So some good news there. Moving on then to item number 6, the authorities risk profile. Who takes us through this? Iwan? Yes, thank you. Yes, so this is the authorities risk profile, just an update really on the authorities risk profile. This is presented to you annually. As you can see, and you're very familiar with this now, this gives you a risk group into small, medium, and significant risks. Regarding changes, there's no changes really regarding the status or the scorings of those risks. So they all stay in their noted categories. There is one additional risk which I'd like you to consider, and I'd like you to approve adding this to the risk. So the risk pertains to the management team. So this is an action point now. You have this as an action point, but it's not down on the risk register. So this is a strategic issue, and it's an important issue to be included. It's about managing the authority. So I would propose for that to be added to the list, and full details will be presented before you the next time the risk register is presented. All right, so we've noted that, and I take it that this includes the risk of being recruiting for a new chief exec in the Resilience Act. Yes, so that it's included to the register. Well, all of that would be included in its entirety on the risk register. So that action point was presented to the executive following the review, the staff review. So it pertains really to the staff in general and the management team. It's about adding some resilience to the management team. It's about the turnover of staff within the management, within the exec team. So the two directors and myself. So 3 of those members will leave by 2026. So the turnover, it's about managing this turnover. And of those 3 members who are leaving, they are very experienced people. So that's why it's being added to the risk register. Edgar, can I propose we add this to the risk register? And Tim, I agree wholeheartedly with what you just said. It's important, especially because the chief exec is the leader of that team, and it's important we have continuity, especially at a time when everything's changing. In the Senedd in Cardiff, there are going to be big changes. There'll be an election this year probably, so we need someone strong to lead the park over the next few years. Now, there's another risk point on past Hannibal. I think here is 2 risks. So the income for past Hannibal, and then number 16, the long-term future of past Hannibal. With the decisions we've made, we need to relook at this. So I think we should group those together. So how do we manage that as the finances and the future of past Hannibal? There are issues, as we know, regarding PR. So we need to make sure we've got all of that included. We need to make sure that everything's ready to deal with that when we move forward. So what's you proposing? Making number 2 and 16 one risk point? Yes. Okay, I agree. Why they're separate? The risk is different though, because this is an operational risk that we are still running past Hannibal as part of the parks business, as opposed to looking at a different way forward or a partnership. Okay, can I propose that we keep these separate because there is a financial risk and then the risk regarding the future of the building? It's more about staff and so forth. All right, well, thank you. Everybody happy then? Well, we'll move on then to item 7, the external grants funding update reports. Sorry, no, are we happy then? Sorry, there's been a proposition here. We have a second there. So everybody happy with this additional risk with class 10 above then? All right, thank you. So we'll move on to item 7, the external grant funding update report. Emil, you take us through this, yes? Yes, so it's about 2 to 3 years since we received the grants. We need to report on them to make sure that they're administered correctly. Now, you'll notice perhaps that the report is getting increasingly smaller. That's because less and less money coming in. That's slightly concerning. The main thing I want to draw your attention towards is the sustainable development, sustainable places grants. So we're moving into our third year next year on this. We have been discussing the future of this scheme with the minister, and she said, well, she's given us some assurance that this is available for a further 3 years. If this ends, then there's a risk to that. We've been discussing this further with officers, and we've been discussing the financial pressures that are on the 3 authorities. They've agreed to have about a third of this, so we're looking at about 280,000 set grant, and then the rest of the money comes in as it is now for decarbonisation and so forth. So I'm happy with that, and that's been approved by the 3 authorities. Then there's an outline of what's been achieved. We have some changes to the sustainable landscape, sustainable places work because of a lack of contractors and some issues with Gwynedd Council. So we've had to move some things around there. And then one other thing in the paragraph 3.3 are the risks we are aware of with these projects. So we have over £500,000 clawback on these SMSs, so sustainable management schemes. This is down to about £20,000 now. So what happened there was that we'd signed the contract, we'd agreed on a process on how to report on this money, and then the rules changed. So then the audit was done on the new rules, even though we'd signed the old contract. Some changes on that. Otherwise, I'm asking, or rather we're asking, if we'd like to change the priorities. And there's more details in Appendix 1 on the individual projects. The main thing to notice here is that some of these large projects are coming to an end. The Dolgellau scheme is coming to an end this month. The Carneddau scheme comes to an end in 2 years' time. Then the Celtic Rainforest project comes to an end in 2027. So this is a concern. How do we move forward? Because we have actually been achieving these projects with a lack of core funding and actually a deficit with core funding. So what do we do after these grants end? So the details are all in Appendix 1. Then the priorities are noted in Appendix 3 and the flowchart is in Appendix 3. Thank you, Rambit. Edgar, a question, if I may. If I remember rightly, we had to spend, but keep some money at the end. Yes, so the money came in 3 tranches. And that's why we, as an authority, keep so much money in reserves, because the money comes in 3 tranches. Now, we're in a good place at the moment, especially with the money we received 2 months ago. Now, had that money not arrived, we probably would have had to get some money to make this transition. But we don't need to do that now. And so I just want to know a bit more really about page 45. We're talking about Gorfinog Hall here, Coed Gorfinog, and the fact that they've been working with us. Now, do they like rhododendrons? What's the issue here? So I'll get an answer to you on that. They're quite personal with gardens. My opinion is that the priorities in Appendix 2 are spot on and we should continue with these. I don't think we should change them at the moment. And then the third point I wanted to say was this. Now, things have changed with external funding and Brexit. We were in a very good position with the life funding, but some people didn't like what we were doing in Wales, especially with the park working with NRW. You've got lottery funds and so forth, which are coming in. There's work to be done on those applications. And the only thing I'd say, really, is from me and from the government is that there is some private money coming in, and this is very different now. It's a different scenario, but this may be the way forward. Because 5, 10 years ago, we had this European money, but things change. So there will be a paper discussing finance in the next working group. We've got about £250,000 spend. So if we are really squeezed, we can dip into that pot. But these projects could fail if we are really squeezed. But I agree. You've done brilliant things with this money over the past 10 years. And a lot of that's down to you personally. Well, the Celtic Rainforest, Iron that. And the park has been running that project. It's a huge project we've been able to do. All right, thank you, Emma. So the recommendation is on page 37. Everybody happy? So 5.1 to 5.6. Everybody happy with those recommendations? Yes, everybody's happy. All right, brilliant. And welcome, Ivor. All right, then. Moving on then to item number 8, the Corporate Work Programme 2023-2024. And Iwan, you're taking us through this, are you? Yes. So this is the update on well-being objectives 2023-2024. And where possible, we've also reported on the various quarters. Now, a final report will be submitted before the end of the year. And as usual, we've used the traffic light system. And that shows you what's on time, what's slightly lagging behind, and what has not progressed or will not be completed. There's also a blue hexagon next to some issues. So the blue hexagon denotes that it's relevant to the government's criteria. And you can see the letter from the government in the report too. You can see so the items of the hexagon are those that feed in directly to that. So we'll go through it page by page then, and we'll take things as they arise. All right, so we start off on page 50 on the PDF numbering. Shout out if you need to make a comment. So 50, 51, 52.
51, please, Chair. Item, I don't know what it is, AC 121, the messaging campaign, which I have to say has been really brilliant, and all the focus on plastic and so on has had a lot of coverage. Will we in due course be doing any more formalized evaluation? I note the comment here, you know, that it's been well received, but that's our view to some extent of probably informal comments coming back. I'm just thinking planning forward and the importance of the sustainability tourist, you know, the visitor sustainability issues in the park, whether we will be doing anything more formal in due course to look at that as to what works well and what didn't work so well, so that we can actually get even better at it.
Yeah, and the points you can take.
Yes, that's a fair point. We can look into that and incorporate that for the future. If I remember correctly, we're waiting feedback as well. Thanks, Brian. Page 53. On 1.3, I'm glad to see the work that's been undertaken there to assess people to get around the park without vehicles. I really welcome that. I am a bit concerned about the strategy regarding the paths around the Wyddfa. The timetable says February 2024. I don't know if that's going to happen because of the resources issue. Well, I've been asking about that, and there has been slippage, and that's why they're both in red. They are aware that, and there is pressure on them to deliver that. During the member development day, that assisted and will assist in developing the strategy as well. So hopefully it will be in the next quarter's report. On to page 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, the list 75. I think this is the most relevant time for us to pick on the point regarding 4.3. I don't know if that's a strategic point. It'll be over a year ago now. We rebranded and called the park Eryri rather than Snowdonia, and the use of Wyddfa rather than Snowdon, which has been very successful, I believe. What are the next steps in relation to seeing how successful that's been and the work that needs to be done in order to rebrand? Is there a strategy or a work program going to be related to that? We don't want it to be a one-hit wonder, because we're still seeing the Snowdonia being used on our signage, etc. So we need to take it to the next step. We were in Plaza Brennan with members on Friday. It's been sponsored by Sports England, and there were there was Eryri there, and Snowdonia in brackets by Sports England. So it really has been established. And we said that it would probably take 2 years to use both and take stock then to see what the situation is, which includes looking at rebranding our logo. We do have one technical problem. We have both names, SNPA and the APC, at the moment legally. And we need to look at the purposes of the park as well, so that we can be consistent. And then there will be just the Welsh name. Iwan, did you want to add anything? Until we get the legal documents, if the document is in English, we have to refer to the English version at the moment. There are ways around it, of course. I encourage people to use Snowdonia National Park Authority in the same sentence and refer to it in the rest of the document as Eryri. So there are ways of reducing the use of the English words. As far as the campaign is concerned, I think it's been really successful. And what's interesting to see is that the media now, well, it's an exception to the rule that you see Snowdonia being used now. They are making an effort to use Eryri, even in the English medium, social media. Country file example referred to the area as Eryri. Tim, NRW, for example, the full name in English is not, I can't remember the exact name. It's not NRW even, but they have used Cyfoeth Naturiol Cymru for NRW on their logos as well, of course. So perhaps we can work through that. If there are official guidelines for staff on how we use the wording, because there are legal issues, I understand that with regard to registering the names, but it does come to a head, or it pops up sometimes. And it may be still in our documents as an authority as well. There's no consistency as such. I just felt really that we need to tidy it up a bit. Just wanted to raise that point. Maybe it's in the pipeline in any case. I think it's a fair point. We learned this after COVID as leaders. It's surprising how many organizations are now using just the Welsh names, same as within Aberystwyth. We've given people the confidence to use just the Welsh version. Planning Aid Wales, for example. They used Snowdonia every time. So I corrected them at the time. So the message isn't out there completely. I think it needs another push, not just on the media, where ordinary people understand it, but throughout public life in Wales, really. Yes, if we keep at it and reiterating the same message. Okay, thank you for that. And up to page 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91. Everybody happy with that? So the recommendation is to review the attached corporate work plan. Can we have a show of hands that you're happy with that? Thank you very much, Iwan. So on to item 9, freedom of information. Bethan, you're joining us on Zoom. Good morning. So this is the annual report that gives us you a summary of the requests that came to hand in relation to the Freedom of Information Act 2023. This gives you an overview of the wide range of subjects that the requests have been in relation to and how that was responded to. This is for information only. I welcome any questions or any comments that you may have. Otherwise, you can see that the recommendation is just to note the content of the report. Thanks, Bethan. Any comments, anyone? Elwyn? Propose that we accept the report and approve it. Thank you. So note the content of the report. Can we have a show of hands that you're happy, please? So Bethan, you're staying with us for the Strategic Equality Plan 2024-2028. Yes, that's me. Thank you. You can see from the covering report, it's important that the authority publishes the report every 4 years. Equality work and setting our aims and objectives has been undertaken jointly with other national and local organizations. We've done this from 2010 onwards, when the law was introduced, legislation was introduced, and it's good to do this. Obviously, good practice. The consultation was undertaken into our current objectives via an online questionnaire and in-person sessions. And as a result of the feedback and comments received, some minor amendments have been made to the equality aims, but the main ethos remains the same. And you can see that in the 7 main objectives and pages 103. The action plan to actually deliver this is being created at the moment, and there may be some additional workflow programs, but the work that's ongoing now will continue because these are long-term aims. If you do have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to them. Otherwise, you can see that the recommendation is to approve and formally adopt the attached strategic equality plan for 2024-2028. Thank you. Thanks for that, Bethan. Does anybody have any comments to propose the recommendation? You can review it in 4 years' time in any case, can't you really? Everybody in agreement? Can we have a show of hands, please? Thank you. Item 11, which is an oral report from Nia. Welcome, Nia.
Well-being 360 on there, yeah.
Well-being 360. This has been beneficial for the staff in the park that staff have received from summer last year. This is a staff benefit scheme, which is brilliant, really, which offers staff benefits. But what's different with this plan is extends to the staff members of their family as well. So the authority pays all of the cost in relation to the employee, and what they get is an app on their phone, or you can have it on your laptop as well. And then you have access to all of the benefits. I'll just run through the benefits and give you some feedback and give you some experiences of staff that the staff have had in relation to the app 360. Some of the services that they include GPs online, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year through Health Hero. What this means is we all know how difficult it is to have a medical appointment at the surgery at the moment, especially after COVID. What this does is enable you on your app to get a slot with the GP. You arrange your own slot. They phone you back. They ask for some minor details with regard to what you talk to the GP about. I've done it 3 times, and the longest I've waited to discuss with the GP is 8 hours. So I've had it on the day every time I've accessed the service. It's great because you talk to an actual GP, they discuss with you like you normally would in a surgery. They ask you to send a photo if you have, say, a skin condition, or to describe your symptoms to them over the phone, or they can give you a video call. They are also able to refer you to a specialist. They can send you a prescription as well. Then the prescription arrives via your email address, and you can receive that prescription for free via your local pharmacy. It states on the app that they're all committed to this, but there are 2 members of staff that have been refused, saying that they're not a part of it. So if they wanted it, they'd have to treat it like a private prescription and pay for it. But I've had it for free, and nobody else has raised an issue that there is a cost in relation to the prescription. So it's worked really well. Staff members who have young children who are concerned, say, if they have a high temperature, have had advice straight away, which is quite in their minds. And I've had really good feedback from them. And it's available to the staff, and we want to offer it to you as members. There will be an email being sent to you with all of the information today, how you download it, how you get the code. If you have any difficulties, you can approach me or Gina, who works closely with me, so that you can get these benefits straight away. The GP one has been a brilliant success, and we're getting really good feedback on that. There are big reductions in high street shops as well, which can save you a lot of money. A lot of staff members had joined the app, and they got a lot of discounts on uniforms before the children went back to school, say in JD Sports. Usually when they do offer benefits like this, a lot of the shops are not available. They're available in Liverpool or Chester, but they're in Tesco, Asda, and they're also trying to target local shops as well to commit to the app. So there are really good benefits that can be used on a weekly basis. We've been using Medra for years because they offer counseling bilingually. 360 offers the same counseling, and there are 2 members of staff have reported that they went through a really dark period, and they had brilliant counseling via this system. And a member of your family can also access it, say your partner or children. They have to live in the same address, but they also get the same benefits. My MindPal. This is an app within the app where you can undertake mindfulness practices, yoga, therapy. There's one person who was pregnant, and she's really enjoyed the yoga for pregnant mothers. It's all for free. And there's an app that can remind you to take rests, take walks, clear your head, etc. And it provides you with quotes to get through the day. There are lots of recipes available for cooking. keeping fit, fitness. I don't know if you've heard of Les Mills, but that's pretty popular and usually have to pay quite a lot to join those programs, but you can have some via this app and it's really good. It's this fitness app that's similar to the Underarm one. There's information and about the perimenopause and menopause on the online center with the OMC, and that provides information about the symptoms and on perimenopause and the menopause for somebody who's suffering or members of their family who wants advice. Care support for carers as well. Through Grace Consulting, this can assist if somebody has parents who are getting older and have to make really difficult decisions in relation to their care, either via video call or over the phone, and it's for free. There's financial advice via Omega and Ask Bill that gives you specialist advice on debt, savings, getting on top of your bills, changing tariffs, etc. And there are lots of workbooks and self-help type books that you can download for free. And there's Total Motor Assist for free for 12 months. There are also reductions on diesel and petrol that we've seen before Christmas. And then the most recent one that they've added 2 weeks ago, in the past 2 weeks. As you can see, I have to use my spectacles to read this, which is to screen the eyes at school. OcuShield is the name. This is brilliant. You can use your phone to test your eyes, and in less than 7 minutes, with the new type of eye test via a tablet or a laptop, you can check your eye health. If there's been any, if your sight has been affected, color blindness, etc. And what it says at the end is, you're okay at the moment, check again in 6 months, or make an appointment with an optician now. So they don't tell you that an optician has checked your eyes, but it's really good. A lot have done this and it's really good. And I would encourage you to trial it if I can get some feedback from you as well. They also run a scheme, a voucher scheme, and twice in the past 3 months, 2 members of staff specifically have won £100 before Christmas with Amazon, and another 2 weeks ago won £30. People are sick of hearing me talking about this, but every time I see somebody in the hall, have you done your 360? And my family and friends says, what is this 360? It's brilliant. I am a really good ambassador for them because I've had a really good experience myself. I don't know if there's another officer who has used the app at all or have had any experience of it, but it will be available to you as members. And like I say, there's a lot of information that I can refer you to the website. That I'll give you a summary of what I've talked about today, and then I'll show you how you get in touch to get a specific code, and Gina and myself will help you. Gina's better with technology than I am, so refer to her first. But if you really help, I can help you. It really is beneficial, and we appreciate it. And appreciate the fact that the authority provides us with this for free. It can change staff and members' lives, and it really is the way forward. It sounds quite high tech. It seems as if it's worthwhile doing. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? Tim? It sounds fantastic, Nia. Better than the ones I've tried before. There was one thing on Radio 4 the other day, problems that people have had with the assistance in regard to the quality and standards. You said that the counselling has been really good and has gone down well, but some people have said that it started off well, then they ended up with an AI, with AI, artificial intelligence, rather than a person. And it doesn't sound that this one is that type of thing, but it's important to keep on monitoring it. And not that it comes up at a high level and then it's very good. Hopefully it's something that we can get our teeth into. I do want to meet with Kevin, who owns the company. I've asked for insurance as well. They're also going to look into 6 free physio sessions as well. And they're going to look at multiskeletal diseases. And they're not asking for money for us. They just add these things all the time. We're just getting more benefits. Well, the physio element sounds fantastic, but of course it's so difficult to get access to a physio. Another question is how much does it cost the authority? £3.99 per person, I believe. And I gave the management team a report last year. I think we paid an additional 3,000 in relation to Metra. So we're getting all of these elements much cheaper, and the staff are using it. They're sending us an email. Everybody who's committed, they send out an email on a weekly basis saying what's available that week. We're really enjoying it, and we're really grateful that we're getting it for free. I'll send you the email unless I can do it. If I can't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow so that you can make a start. And I'm looking forward to getting your feedback. Can I just say I've used it once. My daughter in Cardiff was sick. She could get a doctor's appointment. So it was a bonus to get access to this because technically, remember that we're being recorded now, Emir, if you say anything else. The conclusion that they came to, the GP there, it rang at 9 o'clock. She got an appointment at 9 o'clock in the morning and she got the prescription by midday. It really is brilliant. We passed it on to the management team. We thought, oh, it's too good to be true. There must be a catch. And I was challenged by the management team. And every question that they asked, yes, they're there and available. And he spoke to us directly. It really is brilliant. Joe, did you want to come in here?
Yeah, my question's been answered. Tim asked the cost to the authority, but that's been answered. It really sounds like a great app. Thank you.
Can we pass the mic to Dilwyn, please?
Can the mic be passed across to Dilwyn? Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. What I wanted to ask was, has there been any work undertaken to see if this is going to assess people so that people don't have to take time off from work with children, etc.? There is potential here for it to work in favor of the authority, giving people the peace of mind that they need. I don't know if you've undertaken a piece of work in relation to that. We won't know as such how many people it's assessed because it's confidential. But when people choose to share information, and a lot have, human nature is that we like to tell people when something doesn't work. When things work well, we're not as willing to share that information. But with the feedback that I've got from people, it must be brilliant. We don't have statistics, like I say, because it is confidential. And I'm just going with the feedback because people said it's really good. I've had experience myself with the GP and it really is great, really brilliant. I just wanted to reiterate quickly. I'm sure that this is a very attractive package with regard to recruiting as well. And brilliant if it's being extended to us as members. Thank you for that. We have put it and included it on web recruits now. We've listed the benefits and it's good. Thanks, Nia. I look forward to receiving an email with further information. Thanks very much for that. It sounds really interesting. Does anybody have any comments? Everybody happy? We'll move on to item 12. Tim?
I think, Tim, you take us through this, yes? Thank you, Mr. Chair. So there's nothing here which you don't know about anyway. There's been quite a lengthy discussion on this. I do have a question though, but I will wait until, well, I'm happy to take any questions on this specifically. Like I say, I think you know what's in these papers anyway. It's been discussed at length, the future of the class, and there's a note here as well regarding what can we do to improve and add to this. I have all done the work that's going on with the scaffoldings up. So there's a bit of back and forward regarding what types of stone to use and so forth. The people who owned the biggest quarry, being as these people owned the largest quarry in Blaenau, they chose terrible stones considering that. And this has fallen apart in about 2 centuries, so that's the issue with the wall. I'm happy to take any questions that people may have, or you can just nod your approval. So the main discussion on these minutes is really what we've discussed already. Brian, do you want to come in?
Yes, please, Chair. I don't have any question with the minutes and very happy to accept them. My question was really bearing in mind what is in the minutes. Where are we up to in the process now?
If I can add then, I've asked Edward to bring a paper to the management team, but he hasn't been able to do that because some of those agencies haven't come back to him, but there should be a paper in the next meeting. And I hope to give you a positive update regarding who we've appointed in the April meeting. And if I can add actually on that point, I've asked Edward to get the details on what their vision is regarding the building and what their fees are as well. Because it's more about the fee, it's about what the vision is too, and what they're aiming to achieve. So part of that work is still continuing with one local company, I believe. Yes, if you remember, I reported that we had one private company and one community company who were interested. The private company has put a lot of time and a lot of modeling, and they don't believe that the capital is enough, so they're not going to be investing. The person said, I know of a person who would be interested in taking this over. Now, this person likes the class, but the community company are still interested, as I understand. Swell. Thank you, Chair. I have a question regarding the deeds of the class. Is it completely clear that the authority owns the class? Because the private people who previously owned it, they don't have any stake in it, no? Sorry, I didn't understand the question. So the question is about the deeds. Who owns the class? Oh, we own the class. We own the class. It was bought, I believe, by the old lady Yonithshire Council. Then when we were established as a national park, the National Park Authority, it was part of the handover to us at that point. But there's nothing in the deed, is there, saying that the first owners can get the first offer? No, not that I'm aware. All right, thank you. And the second question is the problem with the bees in the ceiling of the place sorted? I had a phone call that there were bees coming in. Yes, there was a problem. We had quite a few people looking at that. Now, I'm not going to say it has been sorted, but we'll see how the spring develops. But the forecasts, let's say, at the end of the last year look promising. And did they remove the slates? They removed the slates and removed the bees? They did get the bees from there, from what I understand. But they did get the bees from there, yes. Thank you. Can I ask something else? Which this is about the siphon, because we've had an audit on the lake as a reservoir, and there are some health and safety measures. This is one of the things we've got to take a look at. And one of those points is to get a siphon in to get water out if there's a huge problem. Now, we've been trying to get money from the government in this respect, and the government has given us some money recently. I don't think we'd receive more to do this, so what are our plans to deal with the siphon problem? Because if we were in a situation where we, let's say, handed the management over to someone else, if one of these safety points hadn't been completed, the person would be significantly worried. This has been done, I believe. Yes, so we can move on with this. Yeah, so any searches would show this if there was a problem. Well, it's not a problem. Well, I'll check. I'll check what the most recent is on this. Ivor,
Yeah, just question, really.
just an objective question, really. Is the place an absolute freehold, or is it there's still connection with the Oakley family? It's freehold, but I must say, I haven't looked at the deeds, but I can do that. It would be a good starting point, wouldn't it, to see what we're actually dealing with. All right. Now, I can't get answers to these questions, but what we have here is we can't change anything from this report, of course. It's just a case of accepting it as it is, or carry point overs to the next meeting. There are no answers to many of these questions. They'll just have to be addressed in the next meeting. Tim, do you want to wind up with anything? No, I've got nothing else to add. Any other questions from anyone then? Everybody happy? All right, thank you, Tim. So that's that report then. We'll move on to number 13, the report of the Asset Management Group held on the 31st of the 1st. Brian, you lead us on this, yes? You're on mute, Brian.
Dal mute, Brian.
They're on mute, Brian.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. I probably should have been, but there we are.
Yeah, Brian.
The report is, is there before you. Obviously, we spent a lot of time looking at the PLAS. We've mentioned the issues to do with Ariri earlier on today with regard to the budget. So if there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
Iawn, diolch Brian. Ys gen rywun i'w sylwad neu cwestiwn i Brian?
Thank you, Brian. Any comments or questions to Brian? No? Everybody happy then? So the only main thing to report back is if the pass is disposed of, then how would that impact the revenue costs of the estate? Because if you remove the maintenance costs on Plas Tân y Bwlch from our budget, it becomes a bit more flexibility. That's the only point. Thank you, Brian. So sorry for putting you on the spot as well. All right then. So moving on to item 14, is it? And Iwan declares an interest here. And can I propose that we exclude the press and the public under paragraph 7.8 of the funding orders, please? Because this impacts officers. Everybody in agreement? A show of hands, please, excluding the press and public. All right, thanks. So then we'll stop the recording, is it? Or do we continue recording?